Good Friday morning, South Carolina weather watcher. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Friday. Starting off, what is going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Well, right now it looks like that we are nice and dry for the most part, except for up here near Carolina Forest, near Conway over here, near Hand and Long, South Carolina. We have some shower activity over there, and then we have some shower activity over near Hardyville, Hilton Head Island, Levi, Limehouse, South Carolina. These areas are inside of this risk for some shower activity, and so that's really too much of a not really too much of a surprise there. But if we want to take a look at our U.S. weather currently, we do have some flooding and some storms going on in Georgia, Alabama, some more storms, even some flash flood warning for Dallas, as they're receiving some bad flooding right now. Minnesota, South Dakota getting on some rainfall, also over there in California and Nevada getting on some rainfall. And then obviously the tropical disturbance over here that still has a 10% risk of formation over the next 7 days. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But before we get to that, cloud cover wise, it looks like that we're clearing up a bit on the western side of the state. But I think most of us are still covered, and we do have a couple of clear spots going on here and there. But cloud cover for sure is trying to kind of move its way out once we get to, especially as we move into later, which as we go in and push this forward, as we move into this afternoon, this evening, cloud cover seems like it wants to try and move away. But watch as we get back into tonight, 12 o'clock in the morning, cloud cover is trying to build again. This cloud cover just will not leave us. Yes, we do have some clear spots going on. Yes, we have some sunshine in some spots. But honestly, like the majority of us, we have not seen the sun try to peek out in like a good little bit now. Now, what's going on in terms of our current temperatures? We're talking about 77 in Somerville, 78 Beaufort, Charleston, 79 in Orangeburg, as well as Aiken, 78 Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, Conway, 79 in Columbia, as well as 77 in Spartanburg, Gaffney, 76 in Greenville, 77 in Clemson, and Anderson. Now, for our air quality, it looks like that we are good. We're not looking for any sort of bad air quality for the entire state. And if we look at our high temperatures for today, we're talking about 88 in Greenville, 87 Spartanburg, 88 Rock Hill, 90 in Columbia, 89 Orangeburg, and 89 in Moncks Corner, Charleston, 89 in Georgetown, and 87 in Myrtle Beach. Now, for our winds for today, winds are going to be kind of breezy and more towards the coastal areas. Those areas are probably going to get the majority of it. But I will say, I do think that most of those gusty winds have probably came in this morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning or so. Um, I've already had a max gust at my house of close to 25, 30 miles an hour, and that's on the ground. On the ground. That's not, up in the air. Not in the air, that's on the ground. So, I think that we, for the most part, got the majority of our wind gust. We got the majority of our wind gust and wind from earlier. Now, if we want to take a look at those wind gusts, actually, like I said, around 30 miles an hour, like in Charleston, 30 in Georgetown, 29 Myrtle Beach. Rainfall for today is definitely a possibility, if not expected. And you can see that as we go on and move into the morning hours, which you already saw, that shower and thunderstorm activity will continue to move off, but we're really watching for this afternoon. Most of this rainfall that you see on this map could be also from the morning, but a good amount of it also is from this afternoon. And I'll show you why in just a moment. But you can see around the western areas getting around a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch. But then once you get more towards that Grand Strand and that low country area, you're starting to see around a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. Some areas maybe even a half an inch to an inch. So we need that rainfall down there, and I'm glad that we're going to see that. SPC outlook for tonight, or for today, excuse me. We have a marginal risk of severe weather for those coastal areas, maybe even a little bit more the inland Grand Strand, but it is for damaging winds. Damaging winds, that is the main concern there. And then the next risk as well is for tornadoes. Yes, again, that tornado risk is put there for like Georgetown County and Horry County. If you're in those counties over there, you have a 2% risk of tornadoes for today. And again, if you're just in the dark green in general, you have a risk of damaging winds. If you're in the light green, that's no risk of any severe weather, but you can still see some strong gusty winds, small hail, just heavy rainfall. All of that can still happen. Excessive rainfall, we still have that risk of excessive rainfall, so even if you don't have that risk of severe weather, a lot of us still have that isolated flash flooding risk from Florence to Myrtle Beach down through Georgetown, Charleston, Beaufort. Crazy score for today, we're at a 62. Strong, strong storms, heavy rainfall, wind, all of that makes sense. Nothing too severe, so I like this ranking right here. I do like it. Now let's go and take a look at the models. We're going to start off here at around 10 o'clock in the morning, and as you go on and push this forward, watch as you go into tonight. I don't know why I keep on thinking it's tonight. It is not tonight. It is the daytime. Watch as you go into this afternoon. You can see that we do have some rainfall starting to get going by around like 5 o'clock p.m. here in the western Midlands. You see some rainfall going on up there inside of the upstate. And most of this rainfall kind of fizzles out a little bit. You don't really see it too much. And then as you move to around 7 o'clock in the morning, going all the way to 8, 9, 10 o'clock p.m., we have more thunderstorm activity going on in the southern Midlands, inside of the Grand Strand areas, inside of the Petey areas by 10 p.m. And as we move to 11 to 12 o'clock in the morning, thunderstorm activity is still going on in some of these areas. So I do believe that thunderstorm activity, it's not really going to be like the most it's not really going to be like the most like widespread or anything like that. It looks more like scattered than anything, and it's going to produce some thunderstorm activities maybe even into the overnight hours. But that's pretty much all I have to say there in terms of the models. What about for the tropics? Well, obviously that we have remnants of Arthur out there, because obviously Arthur is no longer with us anymore. It's just a regular area, and you can see it. It's actually right over South Carolina right now. That's where it is, and it says right now, offshore the East Coast, remnants of Arthur, showers and thunderstorms associated with the trough of low pressure are located over the southeastern United States. This system is expected to emerge offshore the east coast of the United States later today. Environmental conditions appear to be marginally conducive for some subtropical or even tropical development tonight or Saturday as the system moves northeast at around 20 miles per hour across the western Atlantic Ocean. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall with the potential for life-threatening flash flooding is likely across portions of the southeast United States through tonight. Additional information could be found in other areas. So, again, this has a 10% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 10% chance of forming over the next 7 days. So low, but as we move more and more into the future, we will start to see that threat potentially try to go up. And that's all that I have to say here in terms of our tropical update. That's all I have to say. If you have not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do so. We're at 756, trying to get to that main goal of 800. We are, again, only 44 away. We're we're growing every day, but as I always say, the work does not stop. We're still going to go on and continue to try and push towards 800 and then 900, 1,000. We are less than a quarter of the way to 1,000 too, which is also pretty cool as well. Let's go in and get there to 800 so we can knock that goal out of the way. Hit those two buttons before you leave if you're new. And make sure you tune in tonight for your 9 o'clock p.m. forecast update.